Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I'm going to say, Call Halal Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakah HaKodash, and double honor to the elders and apostles of the great millstone who taught us this truth and rule well. And Shalom to the hopeful elect, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakah HaKodash, Barakatam. It's the brother Kazah from Minival 12 West Coast coming back at it again with another lesson. And this lesson is going to be centered around, the situation in the Ukraine, giving an update. And man, the situation over there, isn't looking any good for these Babylonians. It's good news for us, but for these people, it's not. So I came across this article, all right, which really a couple articles, just to show the situation that's going on over there. All right, so first one I'm gonna come out with is this one, which is titled "Police on Alert for Nazis Headed to Ukraine." All right, now us in this knowledge, this is a big red flag because this says proxy war all over it, man. Okay, now we're gonna go into this article. I'm gonna bring out the key points. All right, and then we're gonna move on to the next article. But see, it's always a proxy war. You know what I'm saying, with the NATO and the EU. In these situations, with their oppositions, which is Russia and them over there. Iran, China too. It's always some type of proxy war. It's always some little faction, in between that's, stirring shit up, man. And this could, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Hawashai, this could lead to something big, man. I speak as a man, you know what I'm saying? It's just my opinion, but these dudes might set off the powder keg, man. All right, so it says police on alert for Nazis headed to Ukraine. It says counterterrorism units in the UK, which is Britain, are on alert for far-right militant seeking weapons and military training in Kyiv, which, if I'm not mistaken, Kyiv is the capital of the Ukraine. Let me just double check that real quick. Ukraine capital. Yup, Kyiv. Yeah, which they spelled it. Okay, yeah, they spelled it some type of way, but all right, so that's that's what's going on over there. All right, so British counterterrorism police have been interrogating travelers headed to Ukraine over the past several days, seeking far-right extremists who might want to get weapons and training and military experience there. All right, so they're over there, they're up to no good over there, man. But this is all exciting, through the Spring Pride Yahweh Shemel Shai, because it just shows that this thing isn't going anywhere, man. It's just culminating and culminating and culminating. Lord willing, something pops off here, because the sooner something pops off, the closer we are to getting out of here, man. Just looking forward to the coming of the day of Yahweh Shemel Shai. And this is the year where Yahweh Shemel Shai is turning things up, man. And so much so, you have a situation, with the Ukraine, between Russia and NATO and the EU. You got the situation with China. You know what I'm saying, with Taiwan, against the U.S. and now you have another one where the Japanese are targeting the Koreans, man. I believe it's the North Koreans. They're targeting them. They wanna, they're trying to get it to where they could, bombard them. So this thing is amping up, man. Yahweh Shemel Shai is turning up these nations, okay? And with that, it's just going to come more and more prophecy, all right? But, just watching the Times, came across this article, all right? So we're going to continue on with it. So we read this. We're going to continue going down, all right? So it says, Azov had an organized training photo op in the city of Mariupol that a number of Western outlets, including several British ones, wrote about on Monday, showcasing a 79-year-old woman as an example of Ukrainians preparing to repel a rumored Russian invasion. All right, so that shows that they're coming in the opposition of these Russians, even though that's that's kind of folly. That's the woman right there. It's all folly. But they use that as a tool to rally up their members and get them, put them in the spirit, if you will. So it says the invasion was supposed to take place early on Wednesday, but did not materialize. Instead, Russia announced that troops and equipment that had been deployed for training exercise were returning to their barracks. All right, so that's what they're coming out with saying. Okay, and it says Azov was established as a military, it's like as a volunteer militia back in 2014 after a U.S. backed coup overthrew the elected government in Kiev. All right, so there it is right there. That's the proxy wars, man. All right, you got factions over there that the U.S. backs up, and this might be one of them. Okay, it says their insignia is the Wolf's Angel rune used by the second SS Panzer Division. Okay, so that's going into the Nazi people in World War II. All right, the unit was later integrated into the National Guard of Ukraine. Okay, so hey, I'm gonna say that again, repeat that again. The unit was later integrated into the National Guard of the Ukraine. So this, Nazi group, this militia was integrated into the National Guard of the Ukraine. Okay, so ultimately, man, this just goes into the proxy wars and the instability that these devils are creating in that region. All right, and this is all prophetic. Okay, because ultimately the Lord is gonna put hooks into the jaws of Gog and Magog, and it's gonna be via through these proxy wars. All right. So it's because with these proxy wars, okay, just to go into that, real quick, what it is basically the U.S., raising up these little factions that's going to basically work out and do things, in the interest of the U.S., which is, one side of the equation, right? And they're going to be doing things against the other side of the equation, which is, the Russians. All right, and that's what's going to be putting the hooks into their jaws because of the jaws of the Russians, because ultimately it's like, okay, you're doing this indirectly, but I know it's you. And that's how the Russians see it. They know it's the U.S. setting up ISIS. And now you have these little factions out here in East Europe. The neo Nazis, whatever they're called. All right, so Russia's just gonna be fed up with all that, man. And Yahweh Shemel Shai, he's just putting the spirit on these nations in these kingdoms to just rise up against the U.S., man. All right, so I'm gonna go to Ezekiel 38 real quick. All right, and it reads, "Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against them." All right, so this is talking about Russia. Okay, Gog and the land of Magog, that's talking about Russia. All right, so verse 3, "And say, Thus saith Yahweh Shemel Shah, our power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws." Okay, because, so far, it seems like the Lord put the spirit on these Russians. If you've been keeping up with this for years, he put the spirit on these Russians, to kind of like have a chill spirit, if you will. Like they don't want to start anything because they know, where it could lead to, which is, that nuclear holocaust, right? But through all these proxy wars, okay, them hooks are being put into their jaws. All right, the Lord is turning them back and putting them hooks into their jaws, meaning he's forcing them. All right, because he's putting the spirit on these Babylonians, these devils here in Babylon, and the NATO and the EU to raise up, through their to their intelligence agencies. All right, CIA, MI6, whatever, that they have to raise up these little factions like ISIS and them, to do things that's against, their interests and for the interests of the West, if you will. All right, it's all politics, but that's the hooks into the jaws by way of these proxy wars. Okay, and it's just going to culminate into something that that they're not going to have any choice but to come forth and bring forth their armies and their military and just go to war. All right, so verse 4, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine armies and horses and horsemen, all them clothed with all sorts of armor." And just going into their military, man. All right, their infantry, okay, their armored, the tanks, the vehicles, aircrafts. That's what this represents. All right, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. All right, Persia, which is the Iranians, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, and the house of Togarmah of the north quarter, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare thyself, thou, and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Okay, so ultimately, Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to put the spirit on these Russians, to be a guard onto these nations that were listed. And you see among these nations, you have Persia, which is Iran, modern day Iran. Okay, and they're striking that they're coming together with that with that allegiance. Okay, that military allegiance. All right, so this is all coming through the manifestation. This thing isn't going away. Okay, yeah, you may have the news that the Russians pulled back some of the troops and this and that, just to ease the tensions, if you will. But this thing ain't going away, man. Don't be deceived. All right, you got these you got this proxy war going on over there, man. And who knows, these guys might do something, man. you know Yahweh Shemel Shah might have it to where these guys do something and that tricks off the powder keg, man, because that's all that's needed now, just that powder keg. Okay, so here's another one that I came across. It says U.S. deploys F-35 fighter jets to Germany. You see, so ultimately, man, this is here it is. The Russians are backing off, with their troops and stuff, right? But the U.S. in the other hand, they're still sending up in their military over there. So we're gonna go into this one real quick. It says more American military assets moved amid Russian invasion fears. All right, so this is ultimately because and I speak as a man. It's just my opinion. All right, but just looking at the situation, it seems like there's gonna be a false flag that's gonna come soon, and it might trigger something big. Okay, now we'll see. How it's gonna turn out. According to the prophecies. But something could definitely be sparked off. If a false flag happens, all right, in the hands of these little neo-Nazi people that's running around over there. You know what I'm saying, that want to repel that Russian invasion. So this is what I'm saying, what's going on over there. All right, and they're sending in these fighter jets over there, even though them Russians just said they were gonna withdraw their troops from that area. So hey, man, all right, don't be deceived by everything that's going on in the media. Okay, so it says several F-35 fighter jets were deployed to Germany's airbase on Wednesday to deter aggression and defend allies should deterrence fail, as the U.S. continues to wait for an imminent Russian invasion of the Ukraine. And I like how they use that word, imminent. And this is all, the Russians, on the other hand, they talk about, oh, now that's hysteria, we over there for training exercises. Who knows, man? But ultimately, how about Shemel Shai? If you read the scriptures, you read the prophecies, he's putting them hooks into their jaws, man. All right, he's putting them hooks into their jaws, and it's happening by way of these proxy wars and all this provocation, all this military activity that's going on. It's only going to be a matter of time before something actually happens, and Russia comes in full force, man. All right, and which is going to ultimately end with the nuclear bombs hitting here in the U.S., man. Okay, so I'm continuing on going as the U.S. Oh, no, I already read that part. It says the U.S. Air Force Reserve Command announced in a statement that the fighter jets had been deployed to Germany with the full cooperation of the German government. And let me continue on reading. And that the aircraft would bolster readiness, enhance NATO's collective defense posture, and further increase. Okay, that's just them, bigging themselves up. All right. And let me see, because ultimately, man, we just trying to get to the nitty gritty. You know, just go into this. White House, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan recently claimed that an invasion could begin at any time, and the Western media have reported several possible invasion days, all of which have passed without any military activity. All right, so that's just going with the speculation. Ultimately, it's not on their time, it's on Yahweh Shemi Shai's time. All right, if you put the spirit on these Russians to take over the Ukraine, we'll see what happens. All right, if he put the spirit on these people to carry out a false flag, we see what happens. Ultimately we'll just see what happens, man. But just looking at the situation, you just have to keep tabs on that. Stay updated on that, because this is something very big. And it says, in the meantime, the U.S. has evacuated its embassy in Kyiv and advised all Americans in the Ukraine to depart the country as soon as possible, warning that conflict could soon break out. It was also reported that CIA officers stationed in Ukraine had been moved away from Kyiv. And you see, that's because they got their intelligence over there, man. And they over there conducting proxy wars, man. All right. So that's, the situation over there. Okay. And then I mentioned earlier, the situation with with the Japanese. They're getting in the spirit too. Look, Japan sees preemptive airstrikes as self-defense. All right. So here it is. You have Japan, which, under the a UN treaty, some type of treaty, when they surrendered, they were basically banned from having, a military force. The only thing they have is a defense force, since World War II. Okay, so they have a strict, self-defense policy since World War II. And the reasons, following that, it's all political. Not just gonna get I'm not gonna get too much into that. But they're starting to, get turned up and wanna include this, things like preemptive airstrikes as self-defense. So that's just, the spirit that these heathens are in. Just have to make a mention of that as well. All right. So don't be deceived, by all these peace talks and oh, they're doing this. So, maybe nothing's going to happen because it's all prophecy, man. All right. And you're going to have a lot of people that's gonna start flipping out, man. Okay. In my household, hey, they're talking, about leaving the country and you know what I'm saying? Not to put my business out there, but it's just, the incredulity of them that have no faith. We can't let that phase us, man. Okay, because ultimately, us in this knowledge, we want this to happen. And guess what? Being here in Babylon, we get a front row seat of how everything goes down, man. Okay, so let's go to the next precept. I believe I had another one saved up. Let me see real quick. Let me see. I had one saved up real quick. All right. Whilst no, it's not that one. It's not that one. Oh yeah, ignorant. Yeah, that's usually the one I get. Ignorant of his devices. Okay, because a lot of people are gonna fall for the okie doke, and I don't know why it's writing a O instead of an I. Maybe that's just my fault. Fingers getting too big. All right, but a lot of these people are falling for the okie doke, man. Okay, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them, because ultimately you see, what's going on. You see the situation, and then the news could come out and say, oh no, nothing's gonna happen, everything's cool, don't worry about it, and people are okay, they'll believe that, and then guess what? They don't get got, man. All right, then something pops up. The next thing they know, their kids is out there getting drafted. That's just a situation that these Babylonians are going to find themselves in. Why? Because they're not paying attention to the signs of the times, and ultimately because they're not taking heed, to Yahweh Shai through the mouths of the prophets. Okay, so we're going to go to the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 11, and it reads, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." All right, and that's what it means to be, on the watchtower as well. Seeing past all these agendas that they have going on and bringing out the truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. Like that little situation right there, it has proxy war, false flag written all over it, man. All right. So with that, I'm gonna say, call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Bahashim Rakah Kodash, forgive me the spirit to do this lesson. Lord willing, it was an edifying lesson. All right, and brothers, just giving brothers an update, on the situation over there through the spirit. All right, so with that, I'm gonna say shalom on to